It's another math day here with teacher Jenny. Join me for another topic, and this time we're talking about when to determine whether the test appropriate for the problem is z-test or t-test. So let's start. A population variance. Some other times you are given there the population standard deviation. Now, where do we usually find it? Where can we find our population variance and the population standard deviation? Now, normally when you have there the population mentioned in there, our population, by the way, is your jars. That's the one mentioned there. So, on that one, you've got there your parameter, which is 15 ounces. That's your parameter in there. Because we are supposed to fill in that one with 15 ounces of milk. So that becomes our parameter. So our average there should be 15 ounces. Now, on that one, normally your population standard deviation and so with the population variance, either of the two will be mentioned right after you've got your parameter there. Now, if we are to look at our problem, what is only given there is the standard deviation, which is coming from the sample. So that is a sample standard deviation. So to simply say it, your population variance or the population standard deviation in there is unknown. So that is why our type of test to be used in there is our t-test. So we are now using t-test for our hypothesis testing under step number 2, determining our test or determining the type of test used in our hypothesis testing. So that is how you find it. Now next, we have our problem. The average IQ of a senior high school student is 100 with a standard deviation of 8. A teacher wanted to find out if there is a change in the result over the years. So he decided to test the IQ of 15 random students. The average IQ of the sample is 98 with 5% level of significance. Is there enough evidence to support that the average IQ changed? Now again, we have to look at the words normally distributed if that is present in your problem. Now if that is not present there, so we have to mark this one wrong. That means to say we have to make use of your diagramming in determining your type of test. Now, we start with the sample size. Your sample size there mentioned by the problem is we have there 15 random students. According to this one, he decided to test the IQ of 15 random students. So this 15 here is our sample size. Now n is 15, so we go and ask ourselves, is 15 greater than 30? The answer is no, that's less than 30. So we go for finding out whether we have our population variance or the population standard deviation given in there. So looking up on the problem there, the average IQ of a senior high school student is 100 with a standard deviation of 8. You've got there the standard deviation that is coming from the senior high school student. So that means that is your population. That becomes the population standard deviation. So yes, your population standard deviation is known. So that means we have to follow the z-test. So what we are using here is our z-test. Okay, the next one here is the average weight of the senior high school student is 64.4 kilograms. A researcher claimed that with the pandemic around, the weight of the senior high school student now declined. A sample of 64 students was then tested with a sample mean of 60 kilograms and the standard deviation of 5.5. Is the researcher's claim correct? We need to test out using 10% level of significance. So again, you have to look for the words normally distributed in there if that is mentioned. Since that is not mentioned in there, then we have to go for the next one, which is your diagram. So we start with the sample size. Sample size here is 64 students. So N is 64. So we go and check, is 64 greater than 30? The answer is yes. So that means we go for the z-test or t-test. Now take note when you say z-test or t-test, what we are actually having here is our z-test. Now, why is there, it's mentioned there, t-test? The reason behind there is, according to the central limit, if your t-test, the sample size there on the t-test is greater than or equal to 30, that will be approximately approaching your normal distribution. So, if you've got their sample size is greater than 30, it's best for you to use the z-test. So that is what it means in there. So normally when you try to know whether what type of test is appropriate for this problem, if you've got bigger or larger sample size, which is greater than 30, automatic will be using z-test for that one. So I hope that's clear, everybody. And even though you're given there the sample standard deviation, take note that your sample standard deviation, as your sample size becomes bigger and bigger, your sample standard deviation will also be approaching your population standard deviation, and literally they would be equal. So that is why we are using z-test for that one. So I hope that's clear, everybody, and I hope you are now enlightened as to what type of test is appropriate for the given problem. So I hope you learned something from me. This is your teacher, Jenny, saying good luck for everything that you're having in math. Math really is an easy subject. All you have to do is to get used to the pattern, the process. Everything is repetition. Okay? So I'll see you on my next video. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you will be updated on my latest video. Thank you for watching.